Florida, once the land of sunshine, palm trees, and booming property dreams, is now facing a terrifying reversal. In 2025, entire neighborhoods across the Sunshine State are collapsing, their once bustling streets turning silent. Empty houses for sale signs gathering dust, and abandoned strip malls are just the beginning. Driven by skyrocketing insurance costs, rising sea levels, and a historic market crash, some Florida cities are on the verge of becoming modern ghost towns. Which places are worst hit? And could your neighborhood be next? Stay with us as we reveal 5 Florida cities you'll barely recognize after the 2025 housing meltdown. Cape Coral was once a poster child for Florida's affordable waterfront lifestyle. Miles of shimmering canals, palm-lined roads, and reasonable home prices drew thousands here every year. But in 2025, Cape Coral's dream has turned into a nightmare. Skyrocketing flood insurance costs have become unpayable for many residents, driving them to walk away from their homes. Property values are crashing as buyers vanish from the market, terrified of ever-growing climate risks. Entire subdivisions are left half-finished or abandoned, with construction halted midstream. The sense of optimism that powered Cape Coral's population boom is gone, replaced by weeds growing through driveways and foreclosure notices plastered on windows. Locals say they hear fewer kids playing in the yards and see fewer cars on the roads. Small businesses that once thrived on local spending are now shuttered, adding to the city's economic decay. Some fear that if no recovery comes soon, Cape Coral could become Florida's biggest modern ghost town, a victim of climate panic and a housing crash colliding at the worst possible moment. Port St. Lucie had been one of Florida's fastest-growing cities for years. Cheap land, family-friendly neighborhoods, and easy highway access made it a hot destination for newcomers. But in 2025, its rapid rise has become its biggest weakness. As the housing crash slams prices down, Port St. Lucie's new developments are losing buyers overnight. Homes that sold for $400,000, 0 cents just a year ago, can't even find bids at $250,000, 0 cents now. Investors are fleeing, leaving entire blocks of near-empty houses. Schools are seeing declining enrollments as families pack up and leave, desperate to escape underwater mortgages. The city's tax base is crumbling, leading to cuts in public services and making the neighborhoods even less desirable. Malls and strip plazas have rows of darkened storefronts. Longtime residents say the friendly, active vibe is gone, replaced with eerie quiet. With no sign of a housing rebound in sight, Port St. Lucie is in danger of turning from a proud suburban success story into a cautionary tale of what happens when growth goes unchecked. Palm Bay used to market itself as the affordable alternative to pricier coastal towns. Young families and retirees moved here in droves, seeking budget-friendly housing near the beach. But Palm Bay's luck has run out in 2025. Surging sea levels and severe storms have made flood insurance impossible for many to keep up with. As climate risks increase, banks have stopped writing new loans, freezing the housing market. Properties are rotting away, some half-submerged in flood-prone zones. Residents, with nowhere else to go, watch as their home values crash, turning their biggest investment into an impossible burden. Abandoned playgrounds, empty retail spaces, and boarded-up homes now pepper the cityscape. The sense of community is breaking apart, with neighbors leaving in waves. Local businesses dependent on steady customer flow are failing. Without a miracle, Palm Bay may soon go from affordable haven to a tragic modern ghost town, a grim symbol of how climate and cash can collide to destroy a city's future. Ocala, famous for horse farms and wide-open green spaces, seemed immune to Florida's usual housing problems. But 2025 proved otherwise. Rising interest rates and falling buyer confidence have shattered the local real estate market. Homes on peaceful acreages that once fetched top dollar are now selling for half price, if they sell at all. Once thriving equestrian estates have been abandoned, fields overgrown with weeds, horses sold off or left to caretakers who can barely afford their feed. Local feed stores and riding supply shops have shuttered. The backbone of Ocala's economy, agricultural trade linked to horse breeding, is collapsing alongside housing. Residents are seeing whole roads lined with for sale signs, while families are forced to move away to find jobs in healthier markets. Ocala's proud rural charm has begun to look more like rural decay, with once vibrant barns turning to dust. Unless new buyers arrive or economic help comes soon, Ocala could join the ranks of Florida's modern ghost towns, a heartbreaking twist for a city that once saw itself as uniquely resilient. Fort Myers had built a reputation as a Gulf Coast jewel, a magnet for retirees and second home buyers. But the 2025 housing crisis has left Fort Myers reeling. Insurance companies have pulled out, refusing to underwrite storm-prone properties. The result? Buyers vanished, leaving condos and beach houses vacant. Downtown areas that once overflowed with tourists and shoppers now stand eerily still. Boarded-up businesses and collapsing roofs dot the historic districts. Real estate agents say prices are down 40% or more, but even at those discounts, no one wants to buy. Locals talk about entire condo towers sitting 80% empty, elevators broken, pools drained. Restaurants and bars have shut down, unable to survive the loss of seasonal snowbirds. Once one of the Gulf's brightest stars, Fort Myers is now on the edge of becoming a ghost town, its coastal dreams drowned by the floodwaters of financial collapse. Naples had long been a playground for the wealthy. Million-dollar homes, pristine beaches, and manicured golf courses drew retirees and snowbirds from all over America. But in 2025, that gilded lifestyle is cracking apart. The housing crash has slammed even the high-end markets as skyrocketing insurance rates and storm damage drive out wealthy seasonal residents. Many of Naples' elite second home owners simply walked away, leaving behind empty beachfront mansions with broken windows and neglected pools. Once crowded marinas now have slips sitting vacant, and high-end restaurants are closing their doors due to vanishing customers. Local economy, heavily dependent on seasonal spending and tourism, is in freefall. Landscaping crews, cleaners, and service workers who relied on the wealthy to pay their bills are out of work, pushing more people to abandon the city. Even the glamorous downtown shopping district feels like a ghost town, with designer boutiques shuttered and streets eerily quiet. Naples shows that no matter how rich a town seems, no place is safe when the housing market collapses and the climate threatens its very foundation. If Naples can't recover soon, it risks becoming one of the most dramatic ghost town transformations in Florida, luxury left behind. Kissimmee has always lived in the shadow of Orlando's theme parks, marketing itself as a budget-friendly home base for tourists and hospitality workers alike. For years, the city thrived on hotel stays, short-term rentals, and suburban growth. But in 2025, the housing crisis has crushed its foundation. Short-term rental owners, once making easy money, are now stuck with properties they can't fill as tourism slumps. Many have abandoned their houses or left them to foreclosure, adding to a rising wave of vacant homes. Entire rental neighborhoods stand silent, grass uncut, pools green with algae. The local service industry is also crashing. Fewer tourists means fewer jobs, and fewer jobs means even more people leaving. Schools have seen class sizes shrink as families relocate in search of stability. The once bustling restaurant strips along US 192 are lined with boarded-up windows and empty parking lots. Kissimmee's identity, built on cheap vacation dreams, has become a nightmare of unpaid mortgages and empty streets. If tourism doesn't bounce back, the city could transform from a budget vacation hub to one of Florida's most haunting ghost towns, a chilling reminder that when the tourism engine stops, everything else can grind to a halt.